believe it was 2008 when I dropped out, and I was in just starting the 11th grade.
I attended Westside High School for my freshman year, sophomore, and I left my junior year.
Officially, I didn't really drop out. Like, I got suspended, superintendent suspension for 10 days. And when I came back, I ain't really know nothing. Like, from the class time, from the class periods that I had, it was like the work was backed up. I was way behind in all my classes, and I just figured like, hey, I'm just not go back.
I was in the 12th grade, and I dropped out my 12th grade year.
I dropped out because I was selling drugs to my teachers, and that was my way of passing, getting through high school, by selling drugs to my teachers. So if I felt as though drugs was doing the learning instead of me.
The dropout rate is indicative of what urban education looks like. We need to change it, and we need to change it quickly.
A lot of people don't have that good enough support behind them to help them stay in school and keep them focused. So I guess that's why people drop out. They don't have enough support.
And they dropped out because of drugs, gangs.
I think people just get tired of school, or they feel desperate, they don't want to be in school anymore, so they just drop out.
I guess you could say the schooling system was kind of cluttered.
It wasn't challenging enough. It was easy to me because I already knew the material. And there was other students, you know, that was standing in my way. I let that get in my way.
The conditions of my school, it was really, to tell you the truth, like I was telling you, the drugs was learning for me. So I was basically passing on with selling drugs to my teachers. So basically the condition was just horrible.
I needed money at the time, like to support myself, my family, brothers. And school wasn't doing that for me at the time.
I didn't care for school at all. And it was like me being 16, oh, I'm out of school, I don't have to worry about, I can do this, I can do that. And, I mean, find me a job, work. Like, that's how I went about life at that time period. And it was like, really didn't care too much at all.
There was one study by the Alliance for Excellent Education that showed, I think it was in 2009, that there were 19,000 young people who did not graduate high school that would have a cost over their lifetimes in earnings of almost $5 billion. That's earnings to themselves, that's earnings to the community, that's earnings in tax revenue.
Right now, a high school dropout makes half of the money of a typical high school graduate. In this particular area, the normal high school graduate makes a little more than $30,000 a year. If you drop out of high school, you'll make half of that, about $15,000 a year. You will live in a life of poverty. And poverty is where we do not need our young people to be. Not in Newark, not in any urban setting, especially during these times in America.
Me dropping out personally, it puts me in, like, what am I gonna do? Like, working or depending on others to take care of me. I believe that's not the way I want to go on with my future.
As a student in a Newark school, I will see many of my peers give up and drop out.
I stayed out of school for like 8 months, and it was like I'm sitting at home, basically smoking, drinking, doing stuff I shouldn't be doing. I got arrested twice.
Young people that are coming out of the correctional system that are on probation or parole or in a residential program, that has definitely increased. And the number of young women who are now basically single moms, not just with one baby, but a number of babies who actually have a family. That demographic is kind of on the rise as well.
And he was in the 10th grade and he dropped out. He was like a class clown. I was always at school, you know. I had to take off work, take him back to school, because he was always getting suspended from school. And it was, had a smart head on his shoulder, real smart, you know. but he just made some wrong choices. First time Eddie got locked up, he told me, you know, when they arrested him, he had slept on this hard bench, you know, hard bench. So he got locked up that night, and what I did, instead of me sleeping in my bed, I slept on the floor. You know, I was like trying to go through the same thing that my son was going through, because I didn't want to sleep in my nice warm bed, you know, at the time when I know my son was sleeping on this hard bench. So, you know, I put myself in his place. I slept on the floor that night.